everybody, I'm Lauren.
I'm Emma.
And you're listening to The Oakview. Hey, Emma.
Hey, Lauren.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you this week?
I'm pretty okay.
That's
Can't
good.
complain.
Can't complain. We love that. We love that. How's the fam? How's life? How's the man? LOL, that rhymed.
All good.
Good. Do you know what day it is?
What day is it?
It's Avatar Day.
Oh my gosh. People
We're
are going to
gonna
stop listening right now.
You know what? That's fine. This episode is for me and me alone. And I'm going to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender and why it's my favorite show in the entire world. And Lauren gave me permission to do this. So, yes, I did ask.
So let's do it.
Okay. Lauren, do you know what Avatar is?
Barely at all.
Do you have, like, anything in your brain that reminds you or thinks of whatever it is? Like, anything?
Well, it makes me think of you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so this is what I know about Avatar, which is basically nothing. There's a young boy with a blue arrow on his head.
Okay.
And there's an old dude and the animal thing with also an arrow on its head. And they have to master the elements. The 4 elements, blah, blah, blah. And then they have to, like, battle people? Fight something?
Yeah, okay.
To win the elements?
To win the elements. I love that. I love that we're winning elements when we had elements. That sounds like Pokemon.
It's mastering them.
It is a master. You're not wrong about that. And there is a flying animal. Do you know that
it's
flies?
like what is it? It's like a mammoth looking thing.
It is a flying bison. And that is the little boy. It does fly. You know why? Because they're all airbenders.
Everybody in the show?
No, just the flying bison and Aang. But let me give you a little synopsis. And then we'll talk to you about why this is the best show on the planet. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so Avatar: The Last Airbender takes place in this fantasy world that is home to humans, fantastic animals, and spirits. So it's about this human civilization that's divided into 4 nations: the Water Tribes, the Earth Kingdom, the Air Nomads, and the Fire Nation. So each nation has its own natural element. So it's based on a society which exists as a nation of people known as benders. And people who have this innate power and ability to control and manipulate the elements of their nation. Now, not everybody's a bender, so yes, there are regular people too, but the cool thing about this is that each bending style was assigned based off of this like martial arts kind of, influence. So there's advantages and weaknesses of the martial arts, just like there's advantages and weaknesses in life. So you'll see throughout this whole show how the elements really need balance. And that's where that little boy comes in. What do you think so far?
I'm hooked.
Cool. So I love this show so much because it talks about more than just kids fighting and trying to win something, right? The show is about really controlling and manipulating life's challenges in the best way possible. So this series is this adventure of a main protagonist named Aang, and he has friends who have to save the world by defeating the Fire Lord and ending this destructive 100-year war.
Why are the fire people bad?
Well, you know how, like, in every kind of life story and movie, there's always that one guy that wants all the power, and he needs to tell everybody that he's the boss, and he's gonna win, and no one can tell him otherwise.
And that's the fire guy?
Yeah, and we hate him.
Oh.
Okay? Now, Fire Lord Ozai is the son of Fire Lord Sozin. And Sozin is the mean dude who was like, you know what? We don't need anyone to feel like they are awesome because the Fire Nation is awesome. And of course, we're all like, boo, Fire Nation! Why are you so mean to everybody? Now, this is the sad part. This is why I actually love this show so much. We have to engage in a really hard topic like genocide.
Wow.
Yeah. So Aang is actually a part of the Air Nomad and the Air Temple nations.
I have a question.
Please ask away, please.
Why doesn't the water tribe just like take care of the fire people?
You know, you would think that an element could overpower another, but this is the key part about why the 100-year war happened for so long. Sozin used this comment that gave him an enormous amount of firepower 100 years ago to wipe out the entire Air Nation. Like, he and his clan went to the Air Nomad Nation and just took out all these people.
Wait, why?
Because he wants all this power.
Doesn't air make, like, fire stronger?
You would think. And they put on a really tough battle. But the key here is that the creators assigned these 4 nations and elements to kind of represent the elements of the world. So the water tribe lives in the snowy Arctic. The air nomads live in the high temples, so very above most lands. So kind of think mountains. That's kind of a good way to put it. The fire nation lives in a hot climate, so like desert, summertime. And then the earth kingdom, they live in more of like a neutral zone. So you can kind of wear light clothing. You can kind of wear dark, heavier clothing. And that's how I kind of think about this. Is like, you have this show about all these kids who are trying to fight the Fire Nation because the Fire Lord is a mean guy. He's the worst, and I hate him the most. And everybody, they're kids. Isn't this crazy?
Yes.
Yes. So a little backstory about Aang. Aang was 13 years old when he found out he was the Avatar.
13?
13. The Avatar is this really unique power and ability that only one person in the whole world has, and his main job is to create this bridge of balance and peace between the real world and the spirit world. But the problem is that they told him too soon. He was too young to know.
Yeah, he's 13, of course.
He's 13. Jeez. Oh my gosh. So we have this really horrible guy named Sozin who uses this massive power to take out his entire nation of people. Aang didn't even know this was happening. He freaked out because he was the Avatar and he ran away from home.
Obviously.
Like, I resonate with that so much because it's like when you have all these responsibilities in the world at 13.
That's too much.
Too much, you run away. So he goes away and he and his Avatar state abilities encapsulates him into this iceberg, and Aang is trapped in this kind of state of I don't even know how to describe it. Just kind of the stillness state for 100 years. Because
that's when the war happens.
That's when the war happens. Because the cool thing about the Avatar is that when you can control all 4 elements, of course the Fire Nation wants to take you out. Because he's like, hey man, no one should have all of this power. So here's the next stage. When Aang wakes up after this 100-year war, he doesn't realize that he's been asleep for so long that his people were all gone.
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
All because he got scared.
All because he got scared. So, a lot of people think that it's pretty crazy that you can pack in these really intense commentary, but also topics of discussion that go beyond a child's mental capacity, right?
Yeah, all war and everything.
War, genocide, manipulation, sexism, a lot of oppression that happens in this show. But the cool thing about it is that they were able to not only present it in a way that kids were like, yes, fire, water, air, earth, whatever. They were able to say like, hey, these people love each other. There's friendship involved. There is challenges, like I said earlier, where we meet really, we meet new people that create a lot of opposite and difficult feelings that we have to defend. We come across a really sad, unfortunate possession of family and, generational trauma and tradition that needs to be upheld. But at the end of the day, of course, we're going to win this war, right?
I would hope so.
Right. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is not just because it's the most near and dear to my heart, but that the Avatar really holds this unique ability and knowledge and power of all the past lives that he has been reincarnated with.
Oh, so he knows everything.
So he knows everything. So this cool thing about the Avatar is that he is the master of all 4 elements. That is part of the incarnation idea.
So because he knows everything, he already masters them all, or does he need to like learn them?
He needs to learn them every time he has a new life. And that's the cool thing too, is just like, you don't just wake up and you're the Avatar and all of a sudden you're like, I am the possessor of all these powers. No, you have to work at each of the elements just like all your past lives did. And this countless incarnation of the Avatar actually has kept all of these nations safe and harmonious. And of course, there's ups and downs. And anybody who knows anything about Avatar knows that there's a lot of detail that I'm not describing. But I cannot impact you and put that all in an episode because I'm sure you can find a podcast about Avatar, and please go look for them and then tell me about them because I want to listen. But you know what's interesting about the Avatar that's kind of similar to you and me?
What?
We go through similar challenges all the time, but we just don't have a cool flying bison that's our best friend.
And we don't have a cool blue arrow on our head.
I don't have a cool blue arrow. I don't have an ability to manipulate elements, but I have a cool best friend and I can manipulate you to let me go get McDonald's.
Completely.
So, you know what I think is really important about my love for Avatar is my ability to have a passion and to have a joy that makes me who I am, you know, because like everybody has like those quirky things and silly things about them that they're like, ooh, what's your guilty thing about you? I'm not a guilty pleasure person about Avatar.
Well, it's just something that makes you happy, right?
It makes me happy all the time. Like
Maybe I should watch it.
Would you like to watch it with me?
Yeah, we should watch. I'll watch the first episode with you.
The first episode.
Well, what if I don't like it? I think I you know, but it's important to you. You know, so like I'd watch it just for you anytime.
I really appreciate that about you. Not every friend would do that for me because they know how obsessed I am with this show.
It's like 1 million seasons, isn't it?
No, it's only 3 seasons.
Honestly, I don't care.
It's a Nickelodeon show, so it's very quick and simple. But if you want, you can listen to the sequel, which is The Legend of Korra.
Even though it's animated and it's a children's show.
Yes.
It is engaging enough.
Yeah.
That I won't think it's a children's show.
Yes. I think that was the best part about this series is that I started watching Avatar in 2005 when I was 10 when it came out. And that kind of grew with me over time. And they kind of like to say that this show is a little bit timeless because now there's a new generation of people who are just discovering Avatar because it's on Netflix. And it's really awesome. But there's so much humor and adult visualization that you can connect to your real life. You know, we talk about war and we talk about this ability to kind of protect your friends and your people, but we also are talking about things about like just doing good, kindness.
And it's funny.
And it's funny because you have these weird characters who are somewhat
like the old guy.
Yeah. Uncle Iroh is the most wise, but he's also the most inappropriate old man I have seen in a show like this. But it's cool because, there's this mixture of like traditional assets, like I was saying, it's based off of martial arts, and it is considered technically an anime, but it's like American Western domestic cartoon kind of thing. So a lot of people, they think, anime, they're like, it's really complicated to pay attention to, but I don't even think I can categorize it in the same because I do watch other anime and it's not the same. I was curious to ask you, because you have never seen Avatar, do you think that it's weird that I love Avatar so much?
Do you want my honest answer?
I do, because it's not going to offend me, because I know that this is something.
I don't think it's weird. Like, I don't care what TV show you like, right?
Sure. It's like people who like.
If it makes you happy, sure, like everybody can be really into something.
Totally. It's funny because I like to say that my love for Avatar is like people's love for Harry Potter, Twilight, weird things like, it's kind of like I don't want to say it, but we're kind of like a cult.
I feel that.
Okay. My friends think I'm really funny because, and by funny, they're going to say weird, I'm a part of a Facebook group that's about a fandom. That's the fandom of
You
Avatar.
are not.
I am, and I go
are
on
so
it.
lame. No, I don't mean that.
You mean that, and that's okay. But it's funny.
In a loving way.
Thank you. I know you love me. But it's funny because this fandom really dives in about those heavier topics that only adults really kind of understand.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll go about with it. Genocide, loss, friendship that goes beyond measures and beyond a lifetime. And we're dealing with a lot of violence that is kind of masked in the show because we don't really see the outcome, right?
That's
but
interesting.
It is. Well, I think it is. But I think it's cool that they've been able to use a lot of artistic abilities. Can I tell you a quick story? And then I would like to just ask you one more question. Okay. Quick story. I am in architecture, like you know.
Yes.
So when I look at shows, I really dive deep into how they created the actual architecture of the show. Not just like the format, but the buildings that they place, the organization of towns, how they drew in each detail, because I think very three-dimensionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out that Janet Varney, who plays Korra for The Legend of Korra, which is the second series, she was giving away autographs. So I emailed her and I said, Janet, I have been a longtime fan of Avatar and Korra, and I think you did a phenomenal job. Could I get an autograph from you, and would you send it to me? This woman was the nicest person in the world and emailed me back and was like, Emma, so great to hear from you. Like she knew me or something. And then she said, you know what? It's so great that you were able to see your ability of architecture and art in the show and see how much hard work that the cast and the crew put into this.
That's so sweet.
Right? And then she was like, good luck in your future endeavors. You're going to be an amazing architect. XOX, Janet.
What?
I have that framed.
The best.
I have that framed and it's now on my wall. And I'm just going to say, that's all I have to say about how much I love it. I'm willing to go out of my way and find people who were a part of this show. And, if anyone asked, they knew my collection was large. But here's the grander question.
What?
Do you think everybody has something that they love so much like I love Avatar? I know people count, and I know that there's things like their careers that count, but like anything like a story, a series of cartoons, maybe even a book.
Do you think that people need that?
No, I definitely don't think people need some sort of obsession.
I don't think that everybody has that.
I would hope that somebody has something that they love a lot, like they're really into ping pong or something.
Well, I think it's important for people to have things that bring them joy.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Lauren.
Like, I love McDonald's.
Because the McDonald's brings you joy.
Like, it's my favorite.
It's your obsession, but it's also a healthy obsession? I don't know.
I don't think anybody would classify it as that.
But you don't love McDonald's the same way or similarly to how I love Avatar. It's just that McDonald's brings you joy like Avatar brings me joy. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Can I know why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Let me count the ways.
Okay.
I love
follow them on Twitter.
McDonald's. It makes me happy when I'm sad. It makes me happy when I'm happy. It makes me happy when I'm neutral. It is just all around comfort. It is familiar. It is delicious. I am obsessed.
I would hope.
And I basically, if you follow me on Twitter, all I do is tweet at McDonald's about how much I love them.
They really need to tweet you back.
Right?
It just drives me crazy.
So here I am, like, I will, write McDonald's love letters, basically. I have in the past. And then they go off and they're retweeting, Mary saying, had a great McChicken at McDonald's today or whatever with this, crappy picture. And I'm like, McDonald's is all my life. And they won't retweet me.
That's neither
here nor there.
I think that's a shame. And I even retweet all of your tweets, so they must know that I at least get some traction for you.
And I appreciate you as my hype man there.
If anything, I also want you to get tweeted because maybe we can get a sponsor. I'm just kidding.
That is our only acceptable sponsor.
That's the only acceptable sponsor.
McDonald's, if you're listening.
McDonald's, please. We love you. I kid you not.
I'll just start plugging things for you.
If you could be any of the 4 elements benders, which one do you think qualifies?
Well, since I'm an expert on the show now.
I did not do a good job at telling you exactly what you should know, but all I'm saying is
I'm feeling like I'm a water. What do you think? I have no idea why, but I feel like I'm a water.
I totally see that for you.
Yeah?
Only because you're like a very thoughtful, calm, you have
Go
a
with the
plan,
flow.
go with the
Water.
flow. LOL.
I
Water
could
is the
master
least
water
go
right
with
now.
the
You
flow.
want me to go turn on my kitchen sink?
Yes, and then I need you to chop it with your hand.
I can do that.
Amazing. That's hilarious. Well, if you didn't want to know, now you know. Just like how you know I'm a Virgo, I'm also an earthbender.
I think I would have guessed that.
Why? What do you think about that?
I have no idea. Just go with it.
That's fine. I agree.
think you're earthy. I think
Thank you.
that
I'm
you're
down
grounded.
to earth. I'm
that-
grounded. Yes.
I think it makes the most sense for you.
Yes.
I don't know why.
I'm
Instinctually.
disciplined. That's probably not how that works. But if you are interested in watching Avatar: The Last Airbender,
We're going to do it.
I would love to. I own all the DVDs.
It's on
and
Netflix.
It's on Netflix, so we could do that too. And then you're going to get hooked and you're going to want to be a part of this crew. And then I will give you all of my comic books for you to finish listening.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
Oh, man. I must really bored Lauren this entire time.
No, you did not. You absolutely did not. I'm excited to watch it with you.
Thank you.
I think it'll be fun. Are you going to, talk the whole time?
No, I won't do that to you. But I will
Are
look
you going to, watch me watch it?
Yes, I will.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, but you have to bring me McDonald's.
Deal. I'll buy you McDonald's if you watch Avatar with me, and then that will literally
Can we make
complete
a fort?
We can make a blanket for it, and we can sit in there and watch Avatar.
Okay. Do you have, a stuffed animal of the buffalo thing?
I have two.
Yeah, that's perfect!
One for me, one for you.
Yay!
And I'll bring all my friends over, too. And by friends, I mean other stuffed animals of the
I was
people.
about to say.
Okay,
Can we watch
don't
Scooby-Doo
judge me.
after?
I hear you people
not.
judging me. No, I just thought that this would be a great way for people to learn a little bit more about me and you, because we're not all science and architecture, we do have other things in our life that bring us joy. And that's important because architecture is not my whole life. It's part of my life,
Yeah, and this is just for us, so we can talk about whatever the heck we want.
Our audio diary consists of multiple random side comments that
We
lead
have
to
such
discussions.
a wide range.
We do, and I
Wow.
think it's just important to know that, like I said, if people don't watch Avatar, I kind of judge you.
What?
Except for
That's
you.
rude.
Except for you, because you're my best friend.
Why didn't you get me to watch it earlier?
I don't know.
It's not, I honestly, I never looked at it and was like, I gotta watch that.
That's okay. I think a lot of people who grew up on it made that more interesting for them. But no worries. I'd be curious to know if anybody is obsessed with anything else like Harry Potter.
Remember, I really like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But I don't want to
You don't have to talk about it.
To own everything Star Wars or anything.
Sure,
I
you're not.
enjoy it.
You're not that in love with Star Wars that you need to have every single thing that Star Wars has.
Well, yeah.
You did dress up as Ren though.
I did. Yeah, and my husband was BB-8. It was great.
That's one of the best costumes you've had for Halloween.
No, last year we were a s'more and a campfire, and that was
even
10
better.
out of 10. It was 10 out of 10.
That's hilarious.
10 out of 10 in idea. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 in reality because it was hard to walk around and hard in execution.
Wow. Because for that, I was Avatar. I was an Avatar. Well, shoot, take it back.
When you come over, I'm gonna take a blue ballpoint pen. I'm gonna draw an arrow on my face. Except I can't.
We
because
could
use
use probably makeup, and then we'll be able to get it off.
I think the pen sounded fun.
I'll let you do the pen, but I'm not gonna be scrubbing it off. But
I
I
don't
just have
do
to
anything,
say,
so-
I just have to say, when I was an airbender for Halloween, I did the makeup myself. I did my arrows on my hands and on my head, and I asked my roommate to borrow her scarf because I didn't own a maroon scarf, and I wore one of my college shirts to represent the gold for the outfit. So I thought that was a pretty creative idea because it was like a last minute thing, and I was like, let's go and do this.
I love it.
And I have now a bomb picture that I can put in my friend group on Facebook and say, hey, look, I did a cosplay.
Did you post it?
I did post it, and I got a lot of likes. So I'm just going to say there's like 10,000 people in this group. So there's a lot of people that
Wow.
contribute. Well, think about this. This show is smart. It's complex. It has interesting stories that appeal to most grown-ups, as do kids. And it's a perfect example of the kind of TV show that you need, that it's funny, it's exciting, it's plenty of goofy humor for the little kids, but it's very thought-provoking and emotionally powerful, too. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, Lauren, I think this has been a great episode, and I just want to
Obviously.
say everybody
Of course you think it's a great episode.
because it's mostly about me, and it's fine with me. Check us out next week when we talk about more serious topics. But thank you for everybody who's been listening. We love it.
Yes, thank you very much.
This has been the Oakview. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks again for listening to The Oakview. You can follow Lauren and Emma on Instagram at The Oakview Podcast, OAKVIEW, or email us at theoakviewpodcast@gmail.com.